Hey. Hello, Antti.
Hello. Hey there, man.
Hey there, man.
How are you
Fist
doing?
bumps. So I'm gonna say your last name also.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
You can
do
try
it.
it. You
I'm
can
gonna
try
do
it.
it.
Yeah.
So today here with me is Mr. Antti Niittyviita.
Thank you. That was almost like a Finn pronouncing the name. Have you been practicing?
Oikein pieni.
Kyllä, joo.
Joo, kyllä joo.
Exactly.
So, my dear listeners, if you don't know who Antti is, let me give you just a really short introduction. So, Antti, who just finished his keynote speak here on the Startup Day Tartu 2021, is also known as, not also known as, but best described as a source of energy in everything that he does. He runs a successful business of 45. I hope it's still 45.
Something around that, yeah. I should know the exact number, but yeah, I have
Hard to
this
keep
little
track
bit of
when
guilt
it's so
there,
many.
So 45.
Let's say he runs a successful business of 45 software testing
Exactly.
professionals. And over the course of 14 years of running his business and being as a testing guru and author, you have written 2 books.
Actually, yeah. And
Right.
third one is coming out.
Third one is
Yeah.
coming. He has met more than 2,200 people in one-to-one discussions about how to create level ups in quality.
Quality in everything that they do. So yeah, and actually today I counted it. It's more than 2,500 one-to-one meetings within the span of like 10 years. So it's like quite a lot a year.
That's
Yeah.
a lot. So you're a guy who knows how to talk, you know how to test, you know how to create level ups, which I'm really interested in.
I still feel like this nerdy, geeky engineer boy, though.
You don't look like a nerdy geeky. You look
Yeah.
quite fit.
Yeah, I've been exercising a bit.
Nice. So first, most important question to you, my friend. I've been following you in Instagram for 1 day now.
Nice.
And I was scrolling through your history and I noticed you have a really weird habit. What's up with you eating ice constantly? Like, why do you eat
I
ice?
think since we have a lot of snow and ice in northern Finland where I live in the winters. And when I was a little boy, my mom always said that you should not eat those icicles, like long cones of spears of ice. You don't eat the icicles, you get the flu. So I was like always secretly eating the ice, and like I was really emotionally engaged into eating those. And I've been always like when I go to like fast food restaurants, I always chew my ice. And it's been so much fun, somehow satisfying. And then it became some of a hobby when I started doing TikToks and there I post videos out of this strange habit of eating ice, and it's like ASMR stuff that I do on TikTok. So fans for some reason they like it, and I already have like something like 1,050,000 followers.
What's your how many views you have your like most popular TikTok?
I'm not sure at the moment. I think it's something like 30 or 34 million.
Jesus Christ!
So
of
it's
you eating ice.
Huge. Yeah, and I've been doing like these professional videos and trying to be all professional for something like 7 years, and now I chew an icicle and it explodes. So it's like, yeah, why have I done all that work? But anyways, it's all behind. It's all a base that I've been creating here, and it's a bit of luck when something goes viral online. So I had this luck with an icicle, and that's how it goes. It's strange. There are 5 million people living in Finland, so it's like 6 or 7 times the amount of people living in Finland who've seen the video. So
there's 1.3 million in Estonia, so it's like 40 times more.
Exactly.
And my favorite one was where you also added some chocolate cream.
Oh yeah, chocolate topping. Yeah. And the ideas
you really enjoyed it.
Ideas nowadays come from the audience a lot. So they're like, try something like strawberry syrup on ice. Yeah, I could try that. So and one of my favorites has been like I love spicy foods. I've been like chili sauce and ice together. It's like ice and fire. So yeah,
what the hell?
That's the artistic side of me.
I think there like in this lies a quite big lesson, or like for me looking you eating ice really
without a shirt
successfully on TikTok without the shirt is kind of good reminder that you have to try things. If you want to, like for example, it's such a perfect example. You just wanted to do something fun, try new platform, TikTok.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about what to do. Just try something.
Yeah, and
try now.
Originally for me, it started as this artistic experiment because I like the idea that you must challenge yourself to grow, and I thought that maybe I start doing on social media something that I feel uncomfortable doing. Do something that I don't necessarily want to do, and I started to document my like morning runs when I go in the winters. I go running without a shirt, so I love the cold exposure stuff, and I was like, yeah, can I really post that kind of stuff where I'm without a shirt? It's not my kind of stuff. I was like really hesitant of doing that, but how I see it, these excuses and these like second thoughts, oftentimes they're like the North Star that you need to use for navigation, because that's the sign that you must do this. It's a sign that you can push through your like this little bit of like you have these like mental blocks, or can you not do it? And I love the idea that you have to challenge yourself to do things that you don't necessarily want to do, and that's the way to make you grow. And every time and every week, every day, I try to find challenges. You know, hit the gym, do something that I don't want to necessarily do. Give a speech in front of a huge audience. I didn't want to do that. I was a really shy boy when I was in junior high school.
Really?
Yeah.
You were a shy person.
Yeah, I was bullied in school for a few years. Luckily, my mom put an end to it. And I never could have given a speech. I faked I was ill, so I don't need to give a speech in school.
Okay.
So, but then in my 20s something started to happen, and I somehow felt drawn towards speaking in front of an audience to experiment the limits. I'm not sure what it was. Hard to point the finger to it, but.
Did you read something, you saw something, or some people around you who affected you?
I think the biggest thing was that I just simply had enough of it, enough of the fear.
Ah, well said.
And I was like, I don't want to fear these kinds of social situations anymore. I want to learn how to speak with people. And I'm tired of this. And then one day just something flipped, and there was an opportunity. I was like, no one else is speaking up, should I? I was like, no, I will do it. And I was like 22 or something like that.
Do you remember the speech? How did it go?
Yeah, it was actually a really short one, and it wasn't actually a speech, but someone asked, "Does anybody know how this song goes?" And I said, "I actually do." And I sung the first verse of it. So that was my first experience in like really.
I wouldn't recommend.
Speaking. Yeah,
as your first speaking gig to sing somebody.
I'm not really a singer, but yeah, but that's afterwards, after that session, after that moment, it was just a few minutes. I felt so much energy. I felt free, and that feeling was like immediately I mentally associated it with facing the fear and going through it. So when you face the fears that you have in your life, whatever it is, when you face them and go through them, the amount of freedom that you will feel inside, it's amazing. So for the freedom and this sense of accomplishment and immediate boost in confidence as well. So that's why I would recommend face your fears as often as possible.
That's been one of like the key points, or like one of the fundamental mental ideas that many of our visitors have been talking about. I've always like kind of quite sad how many people are discouraged by their fears. Like of course this speaking is one of the most common fears, but a lot of people have fears of just failing, not maybe failing as a speaking, but just failing as a person, and just always so hard thinking what other people are thinking of me. How did you tackle with that? Or like, did you just thought that no, I don't care now anymore because I need to change, or did you still had some hesitations what others are thinking?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think today it was like the first time after the pandemic started that I went out on stage in front of a live audience. It's almost 2 years ago when I was in front of a live audience. I've been on live streams like a lot, like 50 live streams this year, but in a live setting, I was faced again with the same fear. So I can tell to you and everybody who's like watching or listening that the fear won't go away. It doesn't go away ever. It's always there, and the only way is to learn how to use it, and the only way is to learn to dance with it. So there is the stress reactions. My palms are sweating, my heart is beating faster. Sometimes my vision even like blurs a bit when before the show. But all that stress, all that like like physical feelings of fear, that's actually my body preparing for me to succeed on a new level. And that's the meaning that I give to the fear. And that's the only way. The fear never goes away. At least that's the truth for me. So
that is truth, actually. I guess, yeah, it's sometimes I feel that some fears do go away, but maybe it's just you learning how to dance with them. You're learning how to cope with them. You know that, yes, you have this fear, but actually nothing bad will happen. Will not happen, sorry.
It's about learning to trust.
Yeah.
I, as a little kid, I had this huge fear of darkness.
Really?
Yeah, at nights. And I remember that there was a moment when at night, when it was really dark, it's like pitch black in northern Finland in winters. And the sun doesn't actually rise above the horizon at all. So it's pitch black there. But I remember one night when I was just like really afraid to fall asleep, afraid of like something under my bed or whatever it is that kids fear. And there was this moment when I just gave in and just that whatever happens to me, it's okay. It's going to be okay. And I felt this relaxation in my body. And that's the first time when I found a tool to face the fear of darkness. It was like to embrace the fear. I have the fear and I can live with it. Nothing terrible will happen to me. And from that point on, it was like something like 9 years, 10 years, I guess. From that point on, I always, when I had this fear of darkness, when I was trying to fall asleep, I went back into that place, into that like trusting that nothing bad will happen. And it served me well. So yeah, I still feel unease in pitch black. Like many people probably do. Unease in pitch black, especially when you're in a forest, for example. It's pitch black forest, so there could be anything behind your back. so yeah, there is unease, and at the same time I feel the trust that yes, I can deal with it.
How did you felt today on the stage after 2 years?
Yeah, I was totally terrified to go up there.
You were?
Yeah, totally. I was like, my vision blurred a bit, and I was going there, and it was like the guy was speaking me up on the stage, and I was like, Antti's coming up here, and I was like, yeah, that's bad. And then when I went there, I usually do something with my body and do something to engage with the audience. I said, hey everybody, how are you doing? And when there was few responses, I was like, yeah, there is a connection between us. And leaning into that connection outside of my head is something that helped me to a little bit of relax and start the story. And some few of them answered. I was like, hey everybody, how are you all doing? And it was like the second question when everybody answered. And with that, like the engagement and this communication between me and the audience, it always helps relaxing. And then I started the story with, I think it was words, I have a confession to make. And that's how it started. So, and when I start the story comes from your heart? From your heart, yeah, from the heart. And I've been like practicing the stories a lot and telling the story in different settings. And actually yesterday I did it 3 times in a bathroom in front of a mirror, the whole story. So
you do practice still today?
A lot, so a hell of a lot. So it's like if you want to build muscle, it's not enough that you go to the gym once or twice. You need to go there 3 or 4 times a week and don't quit. Because if you quit, it's starting to shrink. You're just starting to lose the muscle. So that's why I still practice and I prepare a lot for every talk and presentation that I do.
What do you think, how would your life look right now if you wouldn't have faced the fear of speaking up, if you wouldn't have that moment, I'm tired of being feared now, I will change it. If you wouldn't have not done it. I don't know if that's like double negative right now.
That's a great question. Because I think that a lot of people are contemplating this like thing and facing their fears and sometimes backing up, sometimes going through. And I think that when you get yourself like conditioned to do the things that you don't necessarily want to do, but that you know you will feel amazing once you've done that, it will build your confidence. And when you have the daring inside you, you have a little bit more confidence every day. It will allow you to live more fully. And know that you have used your potential to its fullest. You know, when you go to the sleep at nights, there is so much less fear of darkness and stuff like that when you know that you have played full out.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this, if you, for example, if you go to gym, if you sometimes do it, when you go to the gym,
I know it doesn't look, but I do.
Yeah,
I do really.
I can totally
sometimes
see that you have some kind of martial arts background or something else. Yeah, exactly. So, but when you go and hit the gym, and when you leave the gym, if you didn't break a sweat, how will you feel?
Like I wasted my time a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Not really satisfied with yourself. But if you
not
break a sweat, how will you feel then?
Really good.
Really good and epic.
Yes.
Exactly. And if you break this sweat, like mentally or physically during the days, you will feel amazing at night. You accomplished. This is a day that was worth living. And chasing that kind of feelings is, I think, it's crucial for living a fulfilling life. And usually some of these moments have a lot to do with engaging with people, facing strangers, having communications, saying hi to strangers in an elevator. The stranger probably is, what the hell is that guy doing? But anyway, I do it anyways.
Doing interviews with famous CEOs.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I was about to toss my water.
I'm also nervous.
So yeah, but stuff like that. So I can tell that you've been doing that for quite some time already, like years. So
it is my first English interview ever.
No way.
And it's my first podcast or interview in Startup Day.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you feel at first? Like before the session?
I was a bit nervous, but I wasn't too nervous because in the end, it's still a podcast that I have done 125 times.
Yeah, it's trust is there. You trust the process. Yeah, exactly.
It will go well. And then I met you before, and I know you're such a cool guy. Even if I will fuck it up, you will bring it up.
But this is the important part of preparing for what you are facing, like the big moments. And that's why I came here as well. I wanted to meet you guys because I felt more prepared to do this session. And actually, if any of your audience or you have ever this fear of like this, you feel a bit terrified about approaching like public speaking, one of the greatest tips to face that fear is to walk into the venue the night before and step on the stage. I spent half an hour on that stage alone yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And that's why I came here to you
clever.
as well, because I wanted to spend and breathe the air here and feel like, yeah, this is comfortable. I'm in control. Nothing bad will happen here. So that's why I always want to prepare. And that's the message that I want to give your audience as well, that always when you know there are important things to do, prepare yourself. So do whatever it takes that you feel prepared, and that everything else becomes easier, so much easier.
That's a great advice.
Yeah.
Before you mentioned a really interesting word that I'm really happy that you brought up. It's confidence.
Yeah.
And so I have even one question is written down for me that
Cool.
I always, but that I would ask it from you. So what role failure has in building outstanding level of self-worth and confidence?
Yeah, that's I love that setting, and obviously you've seen that I have a book about it.
Yes.
There. So
second part is like almost a quote or something.
Yeah. So it's I wrote the book Confidence Unleashed, and I felt like a lot of people ask me in this professional environment of software industry. They ask me that how do you build confidence to try to, for example, share your ideas with the team and stuff like that. So I was thinking about confidence for years. And then I went back to my childhood and I was bullied in school and stuff like that. And I thought maybe I should write a short book about this. What's the first and the most important ideas on how to build your confidence? And this topic of failure is of course, one of the key areas. It's actually, it's not on the book that much. But anyways, topic of failure is one of the key areas because everybody fails. at some point of life. I failed a lot of time. I felt big. I've taken one business to bankruptcy. I failed with my marriage. So there are huge things that I failed with, and you can see the failures in two different ways. You can either see yourself as a failure because of that, or you can give, because this is a choice, this is a decision that you make, you can give the failure a different meaning. What if failure means that you're out on the field, you're playing the game, you're not in the audience shouting instructions to the referee or the players, you're in the field and you're playing the game. And sometimes you fail at the game and sometimes you succeed. And the failure is a sign of life. It's a sign that you are in that game. And that knowing only helps me face the failures that I have. And of course, the second and the easier answer is that the failure, of course, is a school as well.
I love that
because you
line.
never fail totally.
What?
It's a school.
No, the one before that, the one. No, I remember it. I remember it. Just how you said that. Failure is a sign that you're playing the game, or playing the game of life.
Yeah,
that is so
it's
well
playing
said.
the game of life. Exactly,
and sometimes people feel that they are missing out of life.
Yeah,
and that's why you are missing out of life. You are not failing.
Exactly.
And if you're not playing, you're playing safe.
That's so true. And I oftentimes ask people when I have these workshops and seminars too. I ask people that how often do you feel like the day drives you versus that you drive the day? And when you are not playing the game, you're only observing the game. That creates for you the feeling that the day is driving me. I'm just a slave for the day, and in the end, that was a terrible day. Things just happened. But if you go into the field and start playing the game of life, there will be failures, but that's the sign that you're playing. And in the end, the failures, for me, they mean that, that was a good day as well. I took something from it. And it was like playing full out.
But I would say that it's not always that easy, though, because for me, personally, I have mostly in my life, I have played the game and I have risked it. I've had fun. And
otherwise you wouldn't be doing this kind of podcast.
I've always had tried new things. But then at some point in my life, for almost 3 years in a row, all the projects that I started, they failed. And I fucked up many things and I was failing and I was playing the game. But now what happened was that I didn't turn it into confidence. I turned it into self-doubt. And the cycle started repeating itself harder and harder and harder. And it was really dark place for me. So what are your thoughts? How to make sure that after playing the game, after failing, you don't go into that self-doubt?
Yeah. It is hard when you are in the middle of the mess. It's at that moment, it will be hard. And I don't say that if you're facing adversities, if you're facing failure after failure after failure, that you can just with a mental trick, you can just change the game totally. And you said what was an interesting thing that you said was that it became this loop of failing, self-doubt.
Yes.
And when you build self-doubt, your confidence goes slower. How much of your potential will you use then? Less, of course. And when you use less of your potential, you take smaller action. And when you take smaller action, what kind of results will you get?
Less
results. Yes. Exactly. And now you have less results. What will it do to your confidence?
It will dampen it more.
Exactly. It's a loop.
Yep, it's a loop. Yeah.
So how can you tweak or hack that loop is an interesting question. What is there to do to hack that loop? So if you always tap to your less of your potential, you do less, you get less results, and
it's hard to put yourself out there.
It's hard to whip yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to put my out there because I will fail anyway.
Exactly. So there, of course, there are different kinds of I call these psychological tools, But tapping into this loop, usually people go out on Google and try to find how to do X, Y, Z, to do, and try to find the recipe for doing it. But it's all about the psychology. Can you get yourself to do it? Can you get yourself to play to your full potential? It's not about the how to, it's about your psychology. And on this psychology thing, the area that you can hack this loop here, it's not about the action, it's not about the results, but the area of your confidence. So confidence has an effect that transfer. So is there an area of your life where you actually feel confident at the moment?
At the moment, this podcast,
Exactly.
I feel pretty confident
Exactly.
about it.
So you already have the recipe of feeling confidence in your life. I've met with people who say that I don't have any confidence at all. And can you hear the confidence in their voice?
They are so confident.
They're so confident that they don't have any confidence. So there is a blueprint of confidence in their brain, in their psychology, in their body. They only need to use it. And that's the trick. Finding that mental image. Can you remember a moment in your life when you felt incredibly confident, incredibly proud about yourself, incredibly in charge and in control of your life? Most people have that kind of a memory.
At least one.
Yeah, and go back. How did you breathe? How did you hold yourself upright? Am I right? What was the expression on your face?
Relaxed, actually.
Exactly.
And a little bit like this clever smile on my
I noticed
face.
that what you did with your shoulders and your back.
Yeah.
How do you feel now? Do you feel
Better,
more or less
better.
Exactly.
I feel so much better
There is
now.
confidence in you already. So this is the area where you need to tap into. And now, are you more or less likely in this kind of emotional state, in psychological state, are you more or less likely to play out on your full potential?
I am.
More likely, exactly.
I am.
So that's the secret that I've been using a lot in the areas where I don't feel confident yet. Of course, there are different kinds of tools for doing that as well, but that's one trick.
So just kind of starting with your physical body,
Exactly.
actually?
Just pick a moment in your life when you were incredibly confident. And think how did you use your body? What were you saying to yourself, for example? Okay, yeah, and just trying to find that mental and bodily state that you used back then, that you were in back then, and when you can replicate it right now, that will instantly boost your confidence, and then you will play to your full potential. You take more and better action. You get a little bit better results, and then when you have positive results, it will contribute positively to your confidence. It will be a positive loop then.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. That's so true. And breathing, like that's the second thing I would say. Always. Whenever bad, good, always breathe.
I actually know this dude in Finland who was like in charge of a SWAT, like police SWAT team.
SWAT team.
Yeah, it's like karhuryhmä, like the bear group or something like that.
Say it again, please.
Yeah, karhuryhmä.
Oh.
Like but it's bear, like
Karhuryhmä.
bear team or something like that. Yeah. Anyways, but he says that one of the biggest things that will tweak your psychology and your body immediately is breathing. And that will take, even if you're faced with the risk of death in this terrible action, when you're in a SWAT team, you're facing terrible situations. The first thing that they teach is breathing. Breathing fully, long exhales, full breathing. And that will immediately tap into your nervous system and make you more relaxed, more confident. And then you will be able to play your game on a new level.
What are you most confident about?
Confident about at the moment? At the moment in my life, I think there is a situation that I have this trust that wherever I go, the situation will carry me over. So
that there's always a gun in the toilet.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about that scene in Godfather movies, where the dude was like he was supposed to do the murder, and in a party where they didn't allow guns, and they had hidden a gun inside of the toilet. Yeah, exactly. Hidden a gun inside of it's like a mafia stuff. Like hidden a gun in the toilet. I was like really nervous that will it be there? Will it be there? So don't you worry, the gun will be there. so trusting that. When you go out and do that stuff, the gun will be there. Yeah, it's a negative metaphor.
No, it's good. It's perfect.
Yeah, but trusting the moment.
How long did it take you to reach this level of trustness, or what has helped you?
I think
to start trusting.
I think the biggest things have, in hindsight, have been my biggest adversities as well. Like going to the dark times. it feels bad, terrible. During when you're facing the dark times, going through the divorce, taking a business to bankruptcy, and stuff like that. So it's at that time it's hard, and you can either use it as a reason for not to try anymore, or there's another option to use it as a school and use it to build your grit. So that's when you're totally exhausted after the gym. That's what makes you grow the most. Mm-hmm. And I grow chili peppers in my garage.
You really?
In winters. It's actually fun.
Are they hot?
Yeah, they're totally hot. I love spicy foods. So I grow chili pepper pushes in my garage. It's actually fun. One of the first things that I learned with chili peppers is that when you're growing them, you need to have a big fan ventilating the bushes, like a wind, simulated wind on the bushes. Okay. Otherwise, if you don't have the wind, no adversity for the seedlings, they will grow long and slender and will bear no fruit. So you will need the wind constantly blowing on the bushes that they will grow a sturdy stem.
Yeah, stronger.
And then it will create the bountiful harvest. And that's what adversities are. They are the wind blowing on you so that you will create a stronger stem, stronger roots.
Antti, you are just filled with amazing metaphors. But it's not even guy. Like a metaphor. It's like real life. Yeah. You have real nature in your garage that teaching you how to live.
Grow and never forget that. So that's why it's actually a useful question. What kind of adversity should I invite into my life next? What kind of challenges should I invite into my life next? So if there aren't any, I think that's bad. It's sometimes good when you can rest without problems. But then the next important question is like, going for a next level, what kind of problems do I need in my life right now?
Why do you want to go next level? And this is something you do on professional also. You help companies to go next level.
Yeah. Why do you want to go to the next level? I think there are only two options in life. Things rarely stay in balance. If you ever heard about work-life balance, for example, it's an urban legend. So there is no such thing as work-life balance. So if there is any moment in time that there is balance between your life and work, then you shout out that nobody move. And as long as nobody moves, it will be in balance. But is that a reality?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So work-life balance is not a reality. And there's a teaching, a lesson in the chili pepper story. That why do you want to grow? I've noticed that when a bush stops growing, it soon starts dying. Exactly. So in life, things rarely stay the same. So it's your choice. Do you want to grow or do you want to start to wither? And my choice is obvious. And I'm sure that the audience there who's like watching or listening, most of the people who are listening at the moment have made the choice already because they are listening. They made the choice to face the problems, face the failures, face the adversities and grow.
Wow. There's one really, really good book about this. Have you heard about it? It's called The Slight Edge.
Slight Edge? No, I haven't heard that.
It's quite famous, but it's quite old book in some sense. Yeah. And the whole book is about exactly the same thing. Nothing in life is the same. You either grow or you die, or like maybe exactly. In the book it's not die, but I don't know what's the opposite for grow.
It's in like English. Sliding, withering,
or just shrinking maybe, something like that.
Yeah, it's with your bicep as well. Mm-hmm. If you challenge it every week, it will grow. If it's a big one, then it will grow a little.
And it's with confidence, exactly. It's the same thing.
Yeah, confidence works like a muscle.
Yeah, it does. Wow.
Actually, you said one of the key points of the book already. Confidence works like a muscle. If you challenge it every day and every week, it will grow. It doesn't like it's not a point in time where there's a breakthrough that suddenly you realize you have confidence. It's never that way. It's the small things that you do every day that will make it grow like a muscle. And if you neglect that, it will start to wither.
Good example is you not being able to doing live shows for 2 years, and this muscle little bit withered,
it was shrinking. Yeah, it was shrinking a bit, totally shrinking. Yeah, but I feel so alive at the moment, so it was totally worth doing.
So you were talking about hard times, and today your story also here, or your speech was about saving your company during really, really hard times. So what happened? Share that story with us.
Yeah, well, it was a 17-minute story on stage, so I'm not going to share the whole story with you. But sorry. Yeah.
No worries, my friend.
Luckily you are here. Otherwise, I would be speaking to the walls. But anyways, the thing I wasn't supposed. The confession that I told about before with you. The confession was that I wasn't supposed to become a CEO. This nerdy, geeky guy, engineer who wanted to do engineering work. I wasn't supposed to become an entrepreneur. Are we still in time?
Yes, we have some
it's
time.
not going to be a 17-minute story.
No,
I wasn't supposed
unfortunately, no time for that.
I wasn't supposed to become any of those. I hope you can watch the story of the keynote on the video streams or the recordings. I hope you get those. But anyways, I became the CEO by accident at the worst economic time of the history, the global financial crisis in 2007 and 8. And when I learned to read the financial numbers, I understood that the business was like only 2 weeks away from bankruptcy. So there were like 2 lessons that I got. First one was from my dad, who was an entrepreneur, and he said to me that "Hey son,"
classic Finnish.
Yeah, exactly. "Hey son, first you need to stop the bleeding, and then you can start the healing." And what I was like, what the hell does that mean? Stop the bleeding? I was like, he said that, yeah. What's the oxygen? What's the blood of your business? I had this like fantasy. It's the people. No, it's not the people. It's the cash on your bank account. It's the cash on the account at this right at this moment. It's not the numbers on the balance sheet or your revenue reports. It's the cash on that bank account. And if it's leaking, you are bleeding to death. So he said that first you need to stop the bleeding, and then you can start healing. And yeah, it wasn't fun to like hand out like letters of like firing my friends. Like laying off my brother and stuff like that. So it wasn't a blast. It was my first job as the
probably one of the hardest things you had to do.
Yeah, and I was like, is this the right thing to do? I was like full of self-doubt at that moment. So yeah, that was like my start into the CEO-ship of a business, accidental CEO, just a software engineer, and just overnight became a CEO. But I finally started learning, of course, at the practice. The second thing to do was, of course, to find new clients. And I remember making the first phone calls. I was just cold calling strangers. I was like, with trembling hands, I was typing the phone number of a stranger, and I was like, please don't answer, please don't answer. And sure enough, didn't answer. I was like, yeah, wow.
Yes,
but
so good.
But the second one answered, and it was like, no, I don't need your services. Quit bothering me. And hung up. I was like, all right, this is how it feels like to get rejected. And I had no other options than to get those rejections a lot. So it was the conversation number 47 that I went through. His name was Esa, I think a Finnish name. Esa, who said that actually software testing that your company does, software testing has been on a roadmap for quite a while, so come visit. Let's grab a cup of coffee. And I went there and I got my first deal on the call 47, or the conversation 47. 46 like no's before the one success. So it was like epic level school in building the grit and the persistence to push through the adversities. And the second lesson, the first lesson was stop the bleeding and then start healing. Second lesson was that when I started counting, I had 10 people that I had fired or laid off, and I wanted to find a job for them and find projects, find work. So I started to calculate 47 calls or conversations on phone to get a job for one. How many calls do I need to make?
470.
Exactly, 470. I was like, you have to call like crazy. I was like, looking at myself in the mirror. Oh my God, can I do this? I was like, there is no other option, I think. I can be unemployed and do nothing, or I can do these phone calls all day. So I might as well try. And in the end, I made it. did all the 500 calls and stuff like that. It actually, the curious thing is that I didn't need 470 calls to get a job for everybody because I started learning. So slowly the numbers create you the learning. So usually the learning doesn't come first, it comes to practice. So the second lesson was, it's short one. If you're going to tweet something about this, it's this. Quantity, the numbers, will beat quality every time, 100 to 0. Quantity beats quality, 100 to 0. First, you need to fix the quantity. Do the repetitions. And then if you're not dumb as hell, so if you're not dumb, you will learn when you start doing. But you first need to stop the thinking.
Oh my God, Antti, I think you really raised the bar very, very high with this short podcast that we had a chance to do with you today. So I thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you?
Where can people find me? First of all, the Confidence Unleashed book. I actually set it up for a download for free until end of this conference, but I thought I might extend it for some time if someone is listening to the if someone's listening to the recording. So you can go download it and get in touch with me via email. Just navigate to address called Prove. It's on my shirt. Prove.guru. Prove.guru/book.
Book. Easy.
Yeah, /book.
Prove.guru/book.
Exactly.
Boom.
So you can download the book for free and you get a few emails from me. And you can reply to the emails and find me on social with my last name that is hard to pronounce, Niittyviita. You did a great job in the beginning.
And so find your TikTok.
Exactly.
Go find his TikTok.
Exactly, go find it.
You can eat him ice. So
I will spell it quickly. So it's at NIITTY. NIITTY VIITA. So it's here. NIITTY VIITA.
Yes, everybody understood that.
Even I didn't know how to spell it here. So, yeah.
Oh my God.
But that was it.
Thank you so much. Thank you again.
Yeah, that was a huge blast. Thank you for the show.
Thank you. Woo. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. See you soon.
Boom. Boom.